He stood frozen in the restaurant kitchen, the scent of tomatoes, garlic, and heartbreak hanging heavy in the air. Daniel wiped his hands on his apron, his eyes darting to the office door where the manager was waiting at the same door through which he'd seen too many chefs leave with boxes in their hands and tears in their eyes. He knew what was coming. The whispers had already started. Sales were dropping, reviews were cold, and the CEO was coming tonight for a final assessment. Daniel's heart ached. This job wasn't just his paycheck, it was his last connection to his late wife, Maria. She had been the soul of this kitchen before cancer took her 3 years ago. Every recipe he cooked still carried a piece of her, especially her signature sunrise sauce, a blend of sweetness and spice that had made the restaurant famous once upon a time. But when she died, he stopped making it. He couldn't bring himself to taste something that reminded him of her laughter, her humming as she stirred, her soft taste. This, Danny, as they cooked side by side. Now, he stood on the edge of losing everything: his job, his dignity, and the roof over his and his daughter Lily's heads. "Dad, can we still go to the park tomorrow?" Lily's voice broke his spiral. She was sitting on the counter in the back room, swinging her legs, clutching the small silver locket that had belonged to her mother. She was only 8, but she had her mom's same eyes, the kind that saw through you. He forced a smile. "Of course, sweetheart," he said, though he knew he might be jobless by morning. That evening, as the restaurant prepared for the CEO's visit, the staff moved nervously. Everyone knew this was the night that would decide whether the restaurant stayed open. The manager, a nervous man named Carl, pulled Daniel aside. "She's a tough one," Carl muttered. "CEO's name is Evelyn Chase. She's built this chain from scratch. If she doesn't like what she eats, it's over." Daniel nodded, his mind blank. He could cook 1,000 things, but nothing felt right. His hands moved automatically, chopping, stirring, seasoning, but his heart wasn't in it. Until Lily peeked into the kitchen again and whispered something that stopped him cold. "Dad, why don't you make Mom's sauce? The one you said made people happy?" He froze. The sauce, Maria's sauce. He hadn't made it since the funeral. But when he looked into Lily's hopeful face, something inside him shifted. Maybe it was time. Maybe honoring Maria wasn't about letting go, but carrying her forward. His hands trembled as he reached for the ingredients: ripe tomatoes, fresh basil, a touch of honey, and one secret element Maria had discovered by accident: a pinch of cocoa. He began to cook slowly, the memories flooding back, her laughter, the warmth of home, the way she'd say, "Every meal is a memory waiting to happen." As the sauce simmered, the air filled with a scent that made the kitchen staff stop and look up. Even Carl sniffed the air and whispered, "What is that smell?" Daniel didn't answer. He plated the dish, a pasta tossed in the gleaming red sauce, topped with the sprinkle of herbs, and sent it out just as the CEO arrived. Evelyn Chase was everything he expected: sharp, confident, all business. She tasted each dish with the precision of a surgeon, and so far, her expression hadn't softened once. When Daniel's plate reached her table, she took one cautious bite, a broken bar, then another. Her eyes flickered. The fork paused midair. "He's a broken bar," she said slowly, her voice quieter now. "A broken bar. This tastes like home." The entire restaurant went silent. Even from the kitchen, Daniel could feel the shift. Evelyn asked to see the chef. Daniel wiped his hands nervously and stepped out, heart pounding. When she saw him, she didn't speak right away. Instead, she looked down at the dish again, then back up. "Where did you learn to make the sauce?" "My wife," Daniel said softly. "It was her recipe. She passed away a few years ago. I stopped making it because a broken bar, it hurt too much." Evelyn set her fork down gently. "My mother used to make something just like this when I was a kid. I haven't tasted it in 20 years. Her eyes shimmered for a moment before she blinked it away. "Your wife must have been incredible." "She was," Daniel said, his voice barely above a whisper. The CEO nodded slowly. "Mr. Daniels, this restaurant doesn't need to close. It needs you, your heart, your story, your food. I don't want you fired. I want you promoted." The staff gasped. Daniel's knees nearly buckled. Evelyn smiled faintly. "And I want this sauce on every menu in the company. Call it Maria's secret. People need to taste this kind of love again." That night, After the crowd left and the restaurant lights dimmed, Daniel stood in the quiet kitchen, staring at the empty pot and smiling through tears. He looked up as Lily ran in, waving a small napkin. "Dad, Miss Evelyn said your sauce is going to be in all our restaurants. Mom would be so proud." Daniel knelt, pulling her into a hug. "No, sweetheart," he whispered. "We made her proud." The camera could linger on their embrace. A father, a daughter, and the memory of a woman whose love lived on in every flavor, every heart touched by a simple meal made with care. And as the scene fades, the narrator's voice could gently remind the viewers, sometimes, what saves us isn't something new or broken but the courage to bring back the love we thought we'd lost. If this story touched your heart, show your love. Hit that like button, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more stories that prove kindness and love never fade.